by GCL Diesel, Tom Gazzola, Joaquin Gage, Hernan Salas with you. Hope you're doing well. Oh, there we go. Hello, Hernan.
What's up?
Welcome to the GCL Diesel postgame show. Gazzola, Gage, and Salas with you. Nanso flying solo, producing his first show on his own here at EST. So a little bit different than the 1260 days. If you're gonna go through it, it may as well be tonight. Glad to be here with you. If you're watching,
are we live? Anyone? Hello.
Yeah, we're live. Well, they're telling us. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. We appreciate it. Let us know your thoughts on the Oilers preseason as a whole, and of course the loss tonight. Nitpick. We'll read out as much as we can and answer as many of your questions that we can. We've got Gager for a few minutes for tonight, which is fantastic. Filling in for Matt Cassian. And you can text us 780-218-9999. 3-5. They end the preseason. That's the record. I don't think that's so much the focal point. It is, do we have answers on the Oilers' blue line? Maybe Joaquin. Maybe, I guess so. I thought Ty Emberson was quietly all right. I don't know what his defense partner was doing tonight, trying to get into it, especially in the first, second period. Maybe settle down in the third. That was Darnell Nurse.
Yeah.
Do we have an answer as the 13th forward question kind of peeked its head out? I thought Noah Philp had a good night.
We were talking about Podkolzin.
Yes.
How we didn't see him, and then he showed up for that one shift, I guess. So
yeah.
He left an impression at the end. Looking at the goals, if we're just going to break down the goals,
sure.
The first one, look, Quinn Hughes, great play, gets a little bit of a bounce. The Soucy goal was a little bit of, I think, what did we say? Like
it was a defensive breakdown.
It was a miscommunication, but not on the on the defense, more on the forward side. You could probably attribute that to just new guys playing with each other, not communicating properly.
That was a Draisaitl line.
Yeah. And third goal.
Arshdeep Bains, power play marker.
Power play. Yeah. So, look, the two of them are probably, one's a kind of a lucky bounce. You get a defensive breakdown and a good executed play by the Canucks. You're going to have those. Mm-hmm. Look, sometimes that happens. You'd like a little bit more offense, I guess, from the Edmonton Oilers
Absolutely.
standpoint. But no, I thought it was a pretty good game by the Oilers defense. Puck movement at times. Again, there's still the communication issues of playing with new guys, I think, is still not quite there.
Yeah.
It would have been, nice if Nurse was a little bit more, had some games early. Tonight looked like Darnell Nurse's first game of the preseason. A little bit.
And it was his second, but he tried to engage too much.
Yeah.
Right?
He
went after Kiefer Sherwood a bunch.
And I mean, maybe that, the old adage in a dressing room was take a hit, give a hit to get into the game. And maybe that's what he was looking for.
Well, he went 50 feet for one and took a penalty.
He did. He did, without his stick, which was quite comical, actually. We had a good chuckle about that. But you know what? For a guy that's played as many games as the NHL, I do feel that he'll be ready by Wednesday.
Okay.
Well, fingers crossed. But
a lot of people hope that's the case.
Yeah, no, I've said it before. I think Darnell Nurse is going to have that bounce back season that from last year. It was far too inconsistent from stretches. I'm not saying game to game. Like he had a good bunch of games together, and then it kind of fell off for a bit and then come back. He's going to have to be really, really good this year for the Oilers to get to where they want to be. But for the last game of the preseason, I'm fine with it, Tommy.
Okay.
We didn't see much from the big dogs, but also we saw glimpses of things from both teams' best players. That one backhand pass by Pettersson to Soucy.
Oh, that was beautiful.
That was ridiculous. But
Backhand
it was
sauce.
also, you're going to see a lot more of that. McDavid had some nice little touches, but you'd like to see more. But I'm just thankful that this preseason is finally over, and we can get to the meaningful games, because it still looked to me like the Oilers were in second gear.
Yes, I'm glad you wrapped up the diatribe with that because I wanted to ask you about that. So we're going to get into the scoring summary and then some thoughts. So keep those coming in, 780-218-9999. You can text us. Lots of feedback in the nasty chat, and it isn't positive, Joaquin. to all of our shock, it is not positive. So fire those texts our way as we roll along here on the GCL Diesel post-game show. Edmonton falling 4-1 to the Vancouver Canucks. In the first period, the goal that Joaquin was referring to, Quinn Hughes walks in, great blast, and you had Don Taylor on with Hernan today on EST Afternoons, and he was talking about Quinn Hughes working on
his shot.
And we saw it. We were like, did that hit something? The broadcast thought it did. You get the ice level view, and it's like, no, that was a straight-in clapper. Hughes gets his first of the preseason from Baines and Oman at 10-11 of the first. They would add to the lead, the Canucks would, with Carson Soucy scoring his first of the preseason from Pettersson, backhand sauce that Joaquin was talking about. Jake DeBrusk getting in on the action as well. His first assist of the preseason at 17:03 of that opening frame. When you give a guy, I'm just going to say that when you let a defenseman walk in and he has like 30 feet of runway, I like their chances.
Yeah, you give any NHLer that much time and space, most often he's going to bury it.
I think I asked you, would you have saved that?
Yeah, no.
Into the second period we go. Arshdeep Baines gets his first on the power play from Danton Heinen. You know what? These stats are like off. It's first of the night because the NHL is also in preseason mode on the website. Arshdeep Baines scored against the Oilers not long ago. Arshdeep Baines on the power play from Heinen and Höglander to make it 3-0 at 7:50 of the second period. And then Evan Bouchard, very similar to what Soucy was able to do. Good face-off win by Victor Arvidsson.
Well, he took a couple tonight. That
Him and Skinner were taking
they were
face-offs.
both taking face-offs. So I wonder if that was just, well, we're not unaccustomed to Leon getting kicked out, right? And
we saw a bunch of guys getting
not
kicked
cheating,
out.
not trying. But maybe this tonight was like, look, I get kicked out of a lot, and giving those guys some opportunities against really good centermen on face-offs. Like the Canucks are a good face-off team. So won the draw. Man, that Bouchard, like I said that when we were watching. I thought that he would probably just in years past he would just wind up and blast that thing. But him recognizing way more time, no one on the planet. You could have 5 goalies in net. They're not stopping that shot. Great goal by Bouchard.
Excellent recognition, like you said, a sign of maturation, like you were alluding to, and he buries it at 12:14 to cut the lead to 3-1. The Oilers were the better team in the third period. I said that to you. We discussed it as we were watching, and like Stu Skinner didn't see a lot of action in the third period, made that really nice save on Quinn Hughes. You were saying there's only a few guys in the world that can transition and cut and work their edges the way Hughes could.
Most guys are going straight through the boards, going that fast, Tommy. And for him to
Hernan likes that
laugh.
There he is.
Buddy.
Hello,
That's
Hernan.
funny. For him to cut back and go back towards the net. And I really liked what Stuart Skinner did. Like
you said he teased him.
I do think so, because sometimes you can, oh my gosh, I got all that other side. If you watch that, if you've PVR'd this game and you're a complete psychopath, he took away completely the short side and left nothing else for Quinn Hughes. So automatically he's looking, I got to go far side with this, and completely took it away right away with a great
left leg.
So just another thing that I do in men's league. That's the only league I could do stuff like that. Stuart Skinner's doing it at the NHL level. That's pretty encouraging for people that were worried about the goaltending.
Against a Norris caliber defenseman with excellent offensive instincts. Jake DeBrusk would score into the empty net from Sprong and Pettersson at 18:05 to ice this one. Shots on goal, 29-26 in favor of the Oilers. Face-offs, Edmonton better on the dot, 55.4% to 44.6%. The power play gauger, 0 for 4. The PK, 2 for 3. We'll get to that, obviously. And then hits, 20 for Vancouver, 9 for the Oilers. Block shots, 9 apiece officially. Giveaways, 17 for Vancouver, 16 for the Oil. And then takeaways, according to the off-ice officials tonight. 5 for the Oilers, 4 for the Vancouver Canucks. So let's get the Latino Heat. The Latino Heat, he's not fired up tonight. Not fired up.
No.
What's going on? You all right?
That burger's killing me right now that I had.
I told you not to
Didn't
do
need a
that.
burger.
I made penne earlier.
No, it looked
It was great
fantastic.
penne.
How good was that?
Delicious.
Yeah.
Spicy,
Some
according
zip
to
on
Tom.
that.
Yeah,
It was just
yeah.
very good.
The sausage, my
That was-
sausage was spicy.
Hotter than your takes that we're about to hear right now.
Yeah, there's not a lot. I mean, I said it yesterday. You can't get too high or too low. I know there's a lot of concern. I'm seeing it on Twitter. I'm seeing it at the Nasty Chat and on the inbox, the
awesome.
defense. And listen, I'll say this. Gager said it. Nurse looked like he's playing his first preseason game.
Absolutely.
He did not look good. That run at Kiefer Sherwood was kind of weird.
What did
'Cause
Kiefer Sherwood do? Was it last game?
No.
Like he's pissing these guys off, and I'm like, what did he do outside of
Just-
playing
they
like a rat?
Just before in front of the Oilers net, they had a little
Right.
back and forth, and then but Nurse goes across the whole ice to
Yes.
hit him, and he's lucky it wasn't worse than what it came out to be. But yeah, Nurse, I thought Emerson was fine. I know we were talking about Vasily Podkolzin. He really hasn't shown much until that last shift. He must have heard us talking about
yeah,
him.
his ears were brown.
His ears were burning.
Yeah.
But listen, I'm seeing some media too post on Twitter like this team is like you want to see a little bit more in the preseason.
Absolutely.
But because you can't just go into game one, guys, and turn it on.
No.
They tried that last year. How did
Yeah.
it go?
Yeah.
So
Awful.
it's hard because I don't want to overreact. But let's just say, like, let's look ahead to Wednesday, and we're doing a post-game show and they lost. We're going to look back at this preseason and say, guys, they never played, to the level they need to be at to start the season. So, yeah, it's right now it's going to be hit and miss. So we'll see Wednesday, man. We'll see Wednesday if this counts because I think last year they had a pretty good preseason. No,
Yeah.
It was all right.
It was okay.
it was kind of like this one, right?
I think so.
Very similar. So
I
I thought it was a little bit better than
don't
this one.
think much about the preseason.
No.
no, exactly,
We've
because
seen-
we've seen Oiler teams
Yes.
be great in the preseason and crap to bed, and we've seen kind of vice versa, right? They be
Yeah.
really bad and then they get hot. So what's intriguing now is the next couple of days, guys, because who's going to be on the team,
That's a great
yeah.
question.
all right?
I'm watching Irf Gaffar and Jeff Patterson on the Rink Wide Vancouver post-game show. They're smiling.
Yeah, of course
Oh,
they are.
yeah.
Oh,
We're
my
smiling
God.
too.
That's all right, but it's in jest. Okay, share your thoughts with us. Preseason as a whole, and then takeaways from tonight, and we're going to read those out. Text us 780-218-9999. And then, of course, if you're watching on YouTube, hit the thumbs up and get at us on the Nasty Chat. Okay, Joaquin, like Nanso was talking about, who has solidified a spot? Has Noah Philp done enough? Did he have a good enough game tonight to take that spot?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Tommy.
I'll read a stat
there,
line.
There was some. I noticed him tonight.
Yeah.
Though. If I'm a betting man, I think that he starts the season here, Tommy.
Philp, no points, 10:05 time on ice, 2 shots, 33% on the dot, though. Remember, he's supposed to win
he's supposed-
faceoffs.
But this was a big learner here going up against regular faceoff guys in the NHL. I think he might start the season here.
If Derek Ryan's hurt, he's day-to-day, he's listed as day-to-day. We've got what?
And
4 or
that's
5
why I
days till
say
game
it.
one.
We might still see Derek Ryan game one.
Yeah.
But just in case, Philp might be in the press box. But I'm saying he might be here.
Because guys, it's not going to be Lavoie.
No.
I don't think so.
No, and Drake Kajula, like he's not a centerman, is he?
No.
So I think it's up front they're set.
Yeah.
It's Philp
You
or
think
Ryan.
Philp has won the spot?
I don't think he's won it. I think he's won a spot on the team
Okay.
as either the 4th line center or the 13th
I
forward.
think he'd be 13th forward.
Yeah.
To me, he's had the best camp out of the guys we've just mentioned.
Yeah. And you were talking about like camp for Oilers fans at least. I think they would have liked to have seen a spark. Even if it was a Connor McDavid highlight goal or a Leon Draisaitl backhand sauce pass to hit someone flying, just something. But I mean, it's been very underwhelming at this point. Look, these guys played a ton, and I think the the mantra of the team is to get back to where they were, to give themselves a chance again. You heard it was weird to hear Connor McDavid say that I need to play more. I don't feel good about myself, and I think that's what maybe skews the message of they're not feeling it yet. They're not. But let's wait. Let's wait till Wednesday. I think there's enough maturity and games played in the NHL to distinguish the difference between preseason and the regular season, and knowing that every point is crucial because of them having to play Game 7s on the road last year.
Is there anything to that they went all the way to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals and had a really short summer? Is there something to that maybe they don't have the energy, or they're not showing up, or
I mean, there's such good shit. If there is, then that's a problem, dude. Like, because to me, I would, like, right now, as a almost 51-year-old man, I'm like, gosh, I'd be exhausted. I'd need another year off. Like, I'm looking for LTIR at this point for myself. But for them, when you're in it, you're like, I got to get back on I got to try this again. I want to get right back at it. If there's like, we got to go through this again, that's an issue. And I don't think that's there, man.
Yeah, that's a good point about the mentality. All right, lots of negativity in the nasty chat. What a surprise on this Friday night. Let's get to some of your thoughts. 780-218-9999.
Oh, my God.
And, of course, via the nasty chat, the Oilers fall 4-1 in the final game of the preseason, and they finish with a 3-5 record. All right, let's go. Alberta Shank has been all over them.
Oh, yeah.
Alberta Shank said score effect third period, and then replied to Gonzo in the nasty chat by saying they're much worse this year, older, slower, porous D. Let's hope you are right. And Dr. Gonzo said, remember the panic last year? They made it to the final within one goal of winning it. It means tying it and then winning it. The Oilers are going to be fine. Aged like fine wine, says Dr. Gonzo. Loomis, this is an interesting one. I'm like, I understand where Loomis is coming from, but at the same time, it doesn't, to me at least, connect. I'll explain and show my work. Loomis says it's frustrating that this front office went out looking for grit, picked up Josh Brown, but Kiefer Sherwood was available. This is kind of like a recency bias.
Yeah.
You know, Kiefer Sherwood, I'll tell you this, like, he played that game like an a-hole. And that I said to you guys when we were watching, that's a Rick Tocchet type of player. Just a jerk on the ice. Like when he got hit by Nurse, and Nurse skated 50 feet across the ice to hit him, he started laughing.
He made Nurse travel 50 feet to go hit him without a stick.
In the preseason.
That's what you want. Tockett's licking his lips right now with that guy.
And just wait till they get Dakota back, and they have Garland, they have Hoglander. Like, they have guys that can get under your skin here.
Absolutely.
Vinny.
Yeah.
Well, you got to plan accordingly. You have to set your composure level to a certain setting. Like
the seaweed man, he's frustrating.
Yeah. The seaweed man.
That's what they called him, didn't they?
Something
gross.
like that.
Some guy named Guy Flaming. Good
I know
Lord.
that guy.
Gager, Tommy, an off-camera Latino Heat. Dream team assembled.
Ooh.
Eminent Sports Talk.
Hey, I'll be on camera as soon as Gage leaves. So
Yeah.
We've got a few more minutes with Joaquin. Fire your questions.
Hey, he can stay as long as he wants.
I gotta
doing it.
I gotta go throw a few margaritas down my wife's little mouth and see what happens.
Oh, boy. All right. It's Friday night. We're having fun. It is the final preseason game of the year. The Oilers fall 4-1. Hampton Steve texting in 780-218-9999. Evening, Tommy and the boys. Best thing that can be said about the preseason is that it's over and all the big boys came out healthy.
Yeah.
Otherwise, a very uninspiring and sloppy preseason. Hampton Steve looking on the positive. A lot of talented star players got hurt this preseason. I know you guys talked about it on EST Afternoons. How much of a positive is it? Because it is one, considering what we witnessed around the league this preseason.
Huge. I mean, the LA Kings are in dire straits right now. Like, they're without one of their leaders.
Doughty, fractured ankle, first preseason game.
Last I looked, it was month to month.
Yeah.
Like, that's
surgery.
So huge, man. That's 25, 26 minutes a night that he plays still at this point, and is a very effective player on D. Like, take Ekholm out for 3 months. Where are the Oilers?
Well, with this roster, not good.
Yeah.
Trouble.
So, No, the fact that everyone's ready to start game one is great. Yeah, if we want to look at some positives, the face-offs, Arvidsson, I think he's holding back a little bit. Again, you got to take this as preseason. These guys aren't going all out.
Okay, that's what I want to ask you. How much of it, like there was that Hyman drive to the net where he kind of flicked it, and I looked at him like, is that him dialing it back? Did we see a lot of dialing back? Could you tell? Did you pick up on that? What would you gauge it at?
As soon as I said that, I said, "Where's Glenn Anderson?"
You did say that.
And then it's, if normal, Hyman's taking that straight to the net, taking a guy with them, going across, trying to stuff it in there. I just think, why risk it at this point?
This coming from the Canucks dressing room, Kiefer Sherwood is going to be good for this rivalry here.
What did he say?
Sherwood on the nurse hit. He's kind of running around. I don't know what he's doing.
Well, I feel like some Oiler fans are going to take that and run with it too.
Oh
boy.
That's
all
great.
right, let's go to this one. Why would anyone be worried about the Oilers? The texter says they put in zero effort this preseason. They're waiting for the playoffs. I honestly hope not. I don't feel like they are. Being around the room the last couple of weeks, I think their headspace is in the right area that it needs to be collectively. But I always, knowing those guys, seeing what they have gone through the last few years, there's always that little bit of concern in the back of my mind, like they couldn't fall flat on their face again, could they? And then I go, well, it's them.
Yeah.
And yes, and they did it last year.
But look, there was what I said about sparks of your star players. There were two sparks on the Vancouver Canucks. Obviously, Quinn Hughes looking phenomenal, which is great. But most nights he looks phenomenal. The Pettersson backhand pass, that's just a very highly skilled play for a goal. You just wished you saw something like that with Connor and Leon. Do Oilers fans actually think that they're not going to see that type of magic come? There's something's going to happen on Wednesday, and it's going to come from one of the guys that I've mentioned, like Connor, Leon. They're going to bring the level of their game to where it's very difficult for most people to follow.
Leon, 1748-2, no points, 4 shots. McDavid, 1811-2, no shots, with a giveaway and a takeaway. Connor, 63.6% on the dot. Leon, 66.7%. All right, final thoughts from you, Joaquin, because I know you have many things to do this weekend, including the rest of tonight.
Yes, I do. Final thoughts is I'm glad this is over.
Okay.
And let's get to when it means something. This is a very mature team with their best players in the primes of their career. I'm looking forward to a very enjoyable season. I'm not putting a lot of stock in this because although there were sparks from the stars of the Vancouver Canucks tonight with a fuller kind of NHL lineup, there's still a lot more with this Edmonton Oilers team, and they have to bring it come next week.
Yeah. Let's see if they do that. Gager, you did great today down at South Fort Chevrolet, as always, and then filling in for Cass tonight. Thank you, as always, my friend.
All right, boys. Nanso, I'll see you next week.
Yes,
All right.
my friend. We'll
Have a
talk soon.
tequila for us, my friend. $8.99.99. Gager, Nanso, you got the sound up? We lost the sound?
Yeah, it's back up.
You got it back? Okay, good. Bring back the lucky short shorts. All right, Nanso. How you doing over there?
Let me bring myself
Get yourself
in
on
here.
This juice.
Give me a sec here.
All right. Keep those texts coming in.
It's a work in progress over here.
Yeah.
There we go.
All right. There he is. The Latino Heat in the flesh. Some of your thoughts, please and thank you, sir.
Yeah, like I was saying earlier with you and Gager, I just don't want to overreact. But if they again Wednesday, if we see a poor effort, we're gonna come back to this, right? We're gonna be like, they didn't give it their best in the preseason. Because Tom, overall, what did you make of their preseason?
Not good. Overall, like there was a lot of nights where you're like, well, that guy didn't do much. That guy didn't do much. And I wondered, and I wonder aloud, and I asked Joaquin, like, is it them holding it back? Are they tired? I don't want to be concerned about them. I feel like they will dial it up when they need to. I also would say it feels like they always need things to get to alert status red before they really wake up and dial it in.
Yeah.
I don't like that. It shouldn't be that way.
But you'd think they would learn from that.
That's what I'm hoping for. I'm trying to be optimistic. I think they will be okay. They're going to face a damn good Winnipeg Jets team on Wednesday, and they better bring a way more improved performance than what we saw tonight. I wonder, the power play goes 0 for 4. I'm watching the power play, and I'm thinking to myself, are they trying new things? Are they getting away from, what works for them, their bread and butter? And Joaquin said, yeah, 1 pass, 2 pass, shoot. Keep it simple. Well, we know these guys like to pass the puck into the net.
Yeah, they do. And what Winnipeg's going to be?
They're good.
They're good.
They're excellent.
I think they're
4th in the league last year, tied with Florida.
They got Hellebuck. Their D-core strong. I think they're top 6. Well, their top 9 is pretty good too, Tom. So, yeah, but the Oilers are good as well. And I think the big question mark going in and that's why I'm intrigued by when do you think the cuts will come? Like the final.
Well, they have to declare Monday at 1 o'clock our time.
Do you think they go the whole way? Do you know what I mean?
Like go with a full 23-man roster?
No, like wait up right up until Monday.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, because you still got to make a decision on Travis Dermott, and it sounds like they are going to sign him.
It was looking like it was heading that way.
And
last I was told,
and he would come in cheap, and
Yes.
he's probably 6, 7, 8 guy, right? Because you have Josh Brown here still.
yeah, I mean, he played better than the 7th guy.
Yeah. Would you go with the 6 you saw today?
How much better are the other options?
Not. Well, I mean, the only guy I would consider is Travis Dermott. I would not start Josh Brown. And I think this needs to be said because he's taking a lot of heat. It's not Josh Brown's fault he got a 3-year deal.
I'd sign it.
If
I was offered that, yeah.
Like-
You want me? Okay.
And it's okay to for management to be like, hey, we made a mistake. Hey, and we don't know that yet. I think we got to give this guy some games with the full team, with your starting goaltender, when the team's rolling, Tom, because it's different, right? And that's why I think Gager and I said we'll give this D-core 10 games, and that's not a lot, obviously.
It's an 1/8 of the season, yeah.
But it's enough to where Jeff Jackson's, I shouldn't say Jeff Jackson. Stan Bowman's the GM.
It is Jeff Jackson and Stan Bohm. That's one thing people need to understand. They work as a tandem.
So it's both of them.
Yes.
I think that's enough games for them to realize that they need an upgrade, because I think deep down inside they know it, and they want to get to the trade deadline with this group.
That's the plan.
You can accrue cap space. Nobody knows what's going to happen with Evander Kane's. If he's going to land on LTIR, is he going to play this season? I mean, the guy had 3 surgeries?
Yeah, I had 6 things that needed to be fixed.
Exactly. So is it gonna push the management to make a deal quicker than they want to?
If they get nights like tonight in the first 10 games, absolutely 100%. They'll be forced to make moves.
Yeah, but
If they
again,
they get 5+ wins in the first 10, then they keep rolling.
But 10 games is what, 3 weeks, Tom? You're not going to get a top 4 game-changing guy in 3 weeks into the season.
Hypothetically, if that happens, you're forced into a bad trade.
Yes.
Where
You're overpaying.
You're trading in a position of weakness. Exactly. You're overpaying.
You're overpaying a pick, or you're sending a player out. And I think you said it in the second intermission. In the second period. I haven't noticed Emerson. And you said, and that's a good thing.
That's a good thing.
Yes.
And I had question marks about him. Like, I want to see this work. I've been told that the hope is he can grow into this role. I was concerned, and I said it on the oil stream for the last couple of weeks, that too much onus and attention is being put on him to rise to the occasion. And sometimes guys, depending their demeanor and personality, they can hear that outside noise. It can affect them. I had him 21st on my rankings of importance. That was deliberate. Be like, hey, tap the brakes. Let him figure it out. You know, he can easily climb the rankings of importance, and hopefully he does. And I don't like the idea of being like, well, they got this guy. He's got 30 games under his belt in the NHL, but the coach knows him from his time in Hartford, and his advanced metrics look good in the late parts of last season. He can do it. Maybe, but don't stare at him and overanalyze every minute move he makes, because there's going to be misplays. He's going to have bad reads. He's going to, if he's playing with Nurse, there's probably times where he's going to have to learn how he's going to have to make up for a Nurse mistake or overcorrects. You know, there's going to be those. And if people are like, oh, that Emerson guy can't do it after 10 games, then it's like, well, you want to see him grow into it. Part of what will lead to him being able to do that is wins and him finding confidence. And that takes good 5-man unit defense.
Yeah.
Save here or there from Stu Skinner or Calvin Pickard. So a bunch of things have to go right. They have the guys that can make it go right. I just don't like the pressure, you know. Now you're just thrusting a guy with 30 games of NHL experience into a top 4 D-man role and expecting him to be amazing, and you're going off of a very small sample size. I just don't like that premise. That's kind of what I'm getting at. But
it's unfair to him that we're deeming him as this guy that's going to come in and save Darnell and the Oilers.
Yeah.
And this guy's played 30 games.
That's not a lot.
Like, he is the most raw guy on the back end, and we're deeming him as the savior. That's being dramatic.
No, and I'm saying don't do that.
Don't. Because he's going to have rough nights.
Yeah, it happens.
When they go up against the Vegas, the Golden Knights, the Colorado Avalanche, when they play the heavy teams like New York Rangers, Emerson might have 2-3 bad games in a row, and we can't torch this guy because it's unfair.
To his credit, against the good Canucks lineup, I think he held his own tonight, though, on a positive.
Yes. I'm a little surprised on not only on the X machine, but on our nasty chat, the hate for Stuart Skinner so early on.
Ooh.
Like, I don't get it. Like,
read some of them. Like, let's hear it, because this question came up. I think it was on the Nielsen show this morning. Someone said, guys, what do we think about the goaltending? What do you mean? You've got a guy that took you to Game 7 in the Stanley Cup Final who was a Calder finalist and an All-Star.
Who bounced back after a shaky second round.
Yeah, he did have a shaky second round. He had a bad second round, and he wasn't particularly great against LA either.
No.
But he dialed it in the third round, and he dialed it in the Stanley Cup Final.
Is Hernan sitting in Maddie's office? No. We got to fix the back here. It's got to look a lot better.
Yeah, we got to get that sound.
It's the preseason.
I'll fix it, don't worry.
But Chief Andy
Give me
says,
a nail and a hammer.
Stu Skinner lacks hockey sense to anticipate a save within the first 10 shots he faces. Like, are you really going to blame Stuart Skinner for the Susie goal? That's on the 5 guys on the ice that left him alone off a face-off.
Well, and 3 of them collapsed on one guy.
Exactly. I mean, listen, is Stuart Skinner and Calvin Pickard the sexiest goalie tandem in the NHL? No. But
like looks-wise? I'm just
well, Skinner's a sharp looking.
He's a good-looking man.
And I get what you're saying, but they're good. And for me, that's the least of my concerns, right?
Artur Shilovs, who had a pretty good night, got absolutely blown by Evan Bouchard. Same type of scenario. Bouchard saw he had runway, walked in and absolutely sniped.
And here's another one. It says, this one's from Mike Torrance. Skinner looks good for 20 saves in a game. Anything more, he's blind. And I'm like, no, come on.
He's going into his 3rd full year. Game 7 of a Stanley Cup final. Calder Trophy finalist and All-Star.
What'd you make of the Hughes goal? Because we were looking at a bit of a deflection.
No, it was straight in.
Straight in, okay.
Joaquin brought up what Don Taylor was saying, that Hughes made a point of working on his shot. At first, I was like, was it screened? It just blew by him. I would love a save there. But, I mean, easier said than done, I suppose. And when you have a former NHL goalie looking at it, seeing it from different angles, he started out kind of analyzing it, and then Joaquin saw the different angles. He goes, no, that was just a heavy shot.
And it makes me laugh because there's some saying Oilers should get Swayman.
How?
Swayman he's
He
a good
wants 10
goalie.
schmil.
He's a good goalie. He's going to get overpaid. He was on a really good team, Tommy. And you know what? He's never played more than 44 games in a season.
This has come up on the final preseason game.
Like, what are we talking about? Swayman, yes, hell of a goaltender, but I'm not putting him up with Shesterkin and Vasilevsky and Hellebuck. Hell of a goalie.
Yeah.
But, like, let's pump the brakes. Like, guys, we have a good goalie in Skinner. In Edmonton, let's appreciate it. Homegrown, drafted. And imagine if Rodrigue next year is the backup. You have two guys you drafted. How rare is that?
Well, it goes against the talk of this team and franchise is terrible at drafting and developing, which I don't necessarily disagree with. The cupboards are bare. They need to restock the shelves. It'll put an onus and emphasis on the amateur scouts and the pro scouts, obviously, to keep this window to win open. But they have had guys, and Vinny Desharnais is one of them. They drafted him in the 7th round.
Yeah, exactly. And
and they developed him. They had 9 guys, I think I was counting, going into, I think it was like game 5 or 6 of the Stanley Cup final that were drafted, developed, and played for the. Yes, a few of them were top 5 picks, but
of course, generational. Yeah. Mike comes back, says 2 goals on 6 shots, kills teammate. We understand that.
I get that.
And every goalie goes through that. Yeah. Every team goes through that. Like, let's look at the goals. A hell of a shot by Quinn Hughes. Horrible breakdown off face-off. Leaves Susie all alone right in front of him. And then the third goal is
the power play goal, backdoor tap in by
It's
Baines.
a backdoor.
And he got that against the Oilers a couple games ago, too.
I think, it's preseason, and I know we're breaking it all down, but at the same time, we got to stop picking at things that are not issues, Tom.
That's what we do best. Welcome back.
Man, I miss this.
Right?
If the Oilers are 20 games in and Stuart Skinner's crapping the bed, fair game. I will sit here and say fair game, go at it, but it's game 8 of the preseason. And Skinner, I think, for the most part, has been pretty good. Yep. And in the games he did lose in the preseason, Tom, he was playing with those really teams that were AHL guys.
That Winnipeg game,
yeah,
that was an AHL lineup. Absolutely. All right, let's go back into the inbox. 780-218-9999. You're working on some clips?
I'm trying here. Okay, I'm just getting fired up. I'll let you know, Tom.
I love it. We're winding you up like old times. Gager is listening on his way home or to wherever he's headed. And, he's already got his first margarita and says, God, it's good to hear you guys again together. Thank you, Joaquin.
Well, thank you.
Joaquin, you made immaculate time. I know you went down to West Edmonton Mall, which is very close to our studios. And that drink looks delicious, I have to say. All right, this text comes in, 780-218-9999 from Greg, the sound guy, texting in saying, did Jackson get too forward, horny, and subsequently F up the D? Lots of red flags this preseason. Sure as heck hope it doesn't carry over to when it matters. But I do fear the D will need to be addressed much sooner than later, chewing up juicy cap space at the deadline. Thanks, guys. Great hearing you boys. Again, Greg, the sound guy. Greg, valid points. Mm-hmm. And yeah, the focus was on just bolstering that forward unit. Arvidsson, Skinner, getting Perry to come back. I like bringing Henrique back. I like bringing Janmark back. They got Connor Brown on a good price. I don't think they expected what ended up transpiring with Philip Broberg to happen. What was salt in the wound was the Dylan Holloway package deal to St. Louis on the offer sheets. That messed them up. I think they anticipated Vinny Desharnais being gone because he wanted more money. He got the deal he wanted with the Vancouver Canucks. Nobody's blaming Vinny Desharnais. The Oilers weren't going to give him a 3-year, $2 million per year contract. I think the Oilers did at some point anticipate moving on from Cody Ceci. I feel like that's not a surprise to Oilers fans at all. Was it, especially after the Broberg thing, was it this soon? No, maybe they would have started the season with him, and then we kept hearing upgrade, upgrade, upgrade. Well, that didn't happen. So I fully understand Greg the Sound Guy's rationale on that with the going forward horny, as he put it, and forgetting about the D. I think they got caught off guard on a couple of things. So, yeah, I mean, I don't want to point to 2017-18 when Peter Chiarelli went cheap and young. Anton Slepyshev, Jujhar Khaira, Jake Gazzola, Matt Benning, expecting those guys to rise to the occasion very quickly. And they banked on that, and it just stumbled and fell, the team did. So hopefully that doesn't happen this time on the back end. Totally get where you're coming from. Great text. Thank you. All right, let's go to Scalding Gore. It says, Emberson is my favorite story. 99% of Oilers fans wouldn't have said one thing nice about him before the trade, and 98% of those would not know him at all. Then he gets traded to the Oilers, and he's a top 4 D-man who will revive Nurse. Fascinating. Scalding Gore, good point. That's what I'm trying to say in a very roundabout way. I hope he becomes something, and they see something in him. They've identified traits that they like in him. They see the numbers. They scouted him. Could he grow into something? A competent top 4? Maybe provides a little bit of offense somewhere down the road. Yeah, I hope so. I think so. Let's see it happen. But I just wouldn't put the weight of the world, or oil country for that matter, on his shoulders just yet. Let's go to Rip City Step. Says, love having Hernan being the voice of reason, but excited for some Hernan post-game meltdowns this year. I think we're going to see some. Oof. Call it a hunch. And then this one out of Calgary says, Darnay looked like a pylon tonight. He won't be missed. You know what? I understand that thought process too, but his penalty-killing ability cannot be overlooked. He was a monster, shot blocker. What did Joaquin refer to him as? Seaweed. I think that was Jay Woodcroft's term for Vinny Desharnais. The tentacles were out there. He has a role. He could play it to a certain level. We did see him get burned by speed in the 3rd and 4th round. You could even point to parts of the first 2 rounds too. Yeah.
We have Coach Knobloch. If hopefully this works, Tom, do you want to throw to him right now?
Yeah, well, there's only one way to find out. Nanso producing his very first show solo at EST, a little bit different, actually a lot different than 1260.
Completely different, yes.
But the thing with Hernan is he's a perfectionist.
Well, let's hope this works.
Let's see what Chris Knobloch had to say following the Oilers' 4-1 loss to the Vancouver Canucks to end the preseason.
You're talking about the breakdowns. Can you maybe take us through the breakdowns and what you saw on your end?
Yeah, there's obviously some breakdowns. Every game's going to have breakdowns, but, just duplication on plays. I think there's a lot of it. And we're duplication where we're following the puck and they're making passes to where we don't have anybody. We want to be chasing that puck. We want to be aggressive, but we need layers and we have to have places covering the dangerous ice. And a couple times we didn't. So that was the defensive lapses I saw.
Where do you think your team is at heading into Wednesday?
Pardon?
Where do you think your team is at right now heading into Wednesday?
I think just a little, wake-up call. I know it's a big change from playing the Stanley Cup Finals, Game 7, to exhibition season. And I think guys' hearts are in it, but it's just not quite the same. And understandably, but now we're hitting regular season. We need to pick it up.
How do you ensure that doesn't kind of transfer over into the early stages of this season?
Well, I think just with the experience of what happened last year, getting off a slow start, and how important it would be to have a strong 82-game schedule, just to give ourselves the opportunity. First of all, to make playoffs, making it a little bit easier on ourselves, but then hopefully the opportunity to have home ice advantage for more than one round like last year. It's tough to win in the National Hockey League every single night. It's parity is very tight, and you can't just show up and expect to win. You got to really compete, and I think we'll have a new focus when the regular season starts.
There you go. There's Chris Knobloch. New focus indeed. Dial it in, I think a lot of Oiler fans would say. And then he had a line there. You gave me the grimace, and you just did it again. It was a dial it up.
We got to get going.
Got to get going.
It's game 8 of the preseason. That concerns me just a little bit. I'm not going to.
Well, that's not something that you build confidence off of. Something like that, what the coach says that, yes, much to be desired when it comes from the Oilers. And Reed Wilkins says the Hughes goal was ticked by Hyman.
Yeah, I think there's a slight tick. Because me and Gage were watching the replay. I think you just stepped away for a quick second, and it looked like it changed.
I thought it was like just a bound, but just enough of a tick to change the angle.
Yes, correct.
All right. Reed says I thought so. Thank you, Reed Rick. How many beers deep are you right now?
Reed's never wrong.
He's never wrong.
Never.
He's razor sharp. Anyway, good shot by Hughes. Ticked off of Hyman. Gets by him. Changes it just enough to tickle the twine. Some people saying Skinner is not good enough. Well,
I love how it's preseason just ended in Dustin Short's text and
the nasty chat's already nasty. For those that are listening and watching at 11:24 on a Friday night to wrap up, we appreciate you very much, obviously, and it's good to get back into this routine. But
Tom,
the takes are hot.
Go back for me because San Jose loss.
Yeah, November 9th.
Yeah,
2023.
How was the nasty chat the inbox?
You couldn't even watch it. It was just
unreal, right?
Yeah, and I wasn't looking at it for like 9 minutes. One rant of the year. I'm
giggling a bit, but I missed this. This is
Welcome
I love
back.
the overreaction, but that's the passion of the fans, and
absolutely
and the passion of the nasties, and everybody that loves this team and cheers them on. And I love that it's the preseason and we're losing our freaking minds. Not everyone. There's some calm people.
Welcome back.
I can't remember preseason being this hot.
But the team has never been this close to winning.
Yeah, that's a good point. They were always bad when we were doing pre and post or post game shows. So.
I mean, your last you were done March 22, right?
At the end of March.
At the end of March, and that's when you left for the Elks, and then the Oilers went on that run to the conference final.
Beat Calgary,
beat Calgary.
But before that, Tom, we had no success.
We were talking about a first round exit sweep at the hands of the Winnipeg Jets. And then the year prior was the bubble.
Oh, boy.
And that was awful. And then the 2 years prior to that were just 2 absolute dog crap years where they didn't even make the playoffs.
I think I was going camping for that last show, game 4 against the Blackhawks, and I called in on the way to the lake.
Yeah, you did. You were pissed.
Because I was fired. I don't know who you did the show. I think you were doing it with Maddie or Con, man.
I think Connors finished up that one, yeah.
Yeah, and it was just, that was... interesting times. But I get it now. You make a good point. The team is a Stanley Cup contender. And you're always going to... When you get to that level, Tom, you want that level always to be there.
Joaquin made a great point tonight, too, in the third period. He said, everybody you face, every single team you play against every night knows what's expected of you, and you're getting their fastball.
And you know what's crazy, Tom? Even when they weren't Stanley Cup contenders, it was still the case because you had Connor McDavid.
Absolutely. So they should be... So having said that, they should know. Now, it is the end of the preseason. Yes, it was underwhelming. Yes, there's concern. Completely valid. I am just as curious, maybe not as upset as some, but I am looking at some of these issues, some of the things that Chris Knobloch discussed tonight, and I'm going, by Wednesday, do they tighten it up? And part of me goes, you know what, Tom? You gave them the benefit of the doubt years past, and they let you down. They could do it again. But then the other part, you got the devil on one shoulder and the angel on the other. The other part goes, Tom, they almost won the Stanley Cup last night. Don't you remember how magical that was just 3.5 months ago?
Oh, man. Dusty on the Nasty Chat says, all that matters is that they are healthy.
And that's a good point. Dusty makes a good point.
And then Zacticum sent us at the inbox. He's got a nice 6 o'clock lager, and he's watching us at home. Shout out to Zach for training this old guy here, Hernan. I felt bad for him because... You know, when you're the old guy and you're learning, new tricks, it's really hard.
He's doing good. Zactico is very patient with you.
Yes, I appreciate it.
I'm proud of him, to be honest. He's doing great.
Oh, he's a beauty.
And we were listening to the rap All Gas No Breaks today, and I'm like, damn, the kid did good. him and Clausen. Scalding Gord says the Oilers have more problems with coverage than Tommy Shorts.
They just won't let it go.
I
right?
know, it's hilarious. It's funny. TV Burkle via the Nasty Chat says, I want to be calm, but they look so bad all preseason long. Yeah. X-Ray J, thanks for the voice of reason. Edmonton Sports Talk /Dusty. And then X-Ray J also says, I'd like to see a wake up and read Dustin Schwartz has been let go. It's not Schwartzy.
No, come on, guys.
It's not Dustin Schwartz.
So when Skinner turned it around last year, I mean, he didn't have anything to do with that. Like, you can't just pick on a guy when the goal. And was Skinner bad tonight?
No.
Like,
no. A backdoor tap in, a bomb that gets redirected from the point, and then another one where 3 guys collapse on the wall and allow a defenseman to walk in 25 feet and pick his spot.
most goalies wouldn't stop that.
Yeah.
Let's just be
Bouchard did it to Shilovs a few minutes later, or in the second period.
Chief Andy is not a Skinner guy, I can tell. I'm
I
not
know.
going to read his last one there, but come on, Andy, calm down. It's going to be all good. It's going to be a hell of a matchup. Hellebuck, Skinner. I always like what Winnipeg does, but they're always disappointed in the playoffs. Do you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. There's a
love-
lot to be desired in Winnipeg as well. They have a great lineup. They have skill, high-end skill, a mix. They have good, pesky checking forwards. They're led by a tough captain in Adam Lowry.
They won that Dubois trade
100% they won.
because Velarde's an absolute
He's going to be
stud.
phenomenal for them.
Iafallo's a hell of a bottom 6 guy that can moonlight in your top 6. I love Kyle Connor.
They've got Ehlers. It seems like they've settled everything that needed to be taken care of there, hopefully.
And Ehlers
You're a Jets fan.
Ehlers is that guy that Winnipeg fans want him to get more opportunity. And it sounds like it because last year he was never on the first unit power play.
Right.
It sounds like this year he's going to play on the bumper. We had Scott Billick from the Winnipeg Sun. He said, yeah, they're trying him there. They've always wanted him there, but it was just numbers, right?
Yeah.
Like you couldn't have him out there. And he's such a fascinating player because when Ehlers is on, Tom, like for me, he's one of the best wingers out there.
I agree.
But injuries, a little inconsistent. I think Bonus didn't really give him a lot of that power play one time. So we'll see what happens. But I love the matchup. I love when the Oilers start the season with a hard matchup right away.
Good.
Because you get punched in the
Smack
mouth
in the face, yeah.
or you lay it down and you say, we're here. And you look at last year. I didn't see an 8-1 loss coming to the Vancouver Canucks. And all season I kept thinking Vancouver was going to fall off, and they never did.
No,
it was
they
like
were
Seattle 2 years
so
ago.
consistent.
So I think Vancouver is going to be right there with Edmonton. I think Vegas is going to be right there for Edmonton. I think it's just those two teams. I think the loss of Doughty in LA is going to be huge.
Yep.
I think Seattle, Calgary are going to be in that mid-tier. And then I think Anaheim, San Jose are going to kind of falter. So
Yeah.
it's
Calgary.
It's I think this is, I've been saying it since we started our afternoon show. This is the Oilers. The only team that can take the Oilers off first in the Pacific is the Oilers.
Sad but true. And I think a lot of those texts came in immediately, and it's like, yeah, you're right. Yeah, very, very, very right. All right, 780-218-9999. We do have some text to get to, and the nasty chat. A lot of negativity.
Yes.
Is it concerning? Kind of. Am I surprised? No. We're back. Scalding Gord says, sarcasm alert. Oilers will trade Stu Skinner to upgrade their goalie and include Jeff Skinner so he won't be burdened to having to play in the playoffs. Concession prices will be lowered on popcorn and raised on beer and pizza. Yeah. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. All right. What do we got in the nasty chat? Anything good?
Not real. Just more on Stuart Skinner,
North
Dustin Schwartz.
Dead Landscaping does not like Stu Skinner.
Nope.
Jody says they need 2 more NHL level D-men as well. We'll see how that evolves, Jody. I understand where you're coming from. And then Penner's Pancakes saying Skinner had a 9.05 last year and they went to Game 7. Goaltending is fine. He will be 9.10 this year with a thumbs up. All right. Final thoughts. We've got a few more minutes left.
Yeah, Wednesday can't come soon enough. Tom's going to be a great week here on EST. I think it's great coverage, 6-6. And it's going to be exciting, man. Like that first game It's always there's such a buzz in the city that day.
Yes.
We'll be on for pre, obviously, and we'll be back no matter what happens for post game. I can't wait for that. And yeah, I'm intrigued to see the moves. It's going to be Caggiula and Lavoie for me going down. And then it's on the back end what I'm going to wait to see. Do they sign Dermott? Is Josh Brown land on waivers? Or do they keep Dermott and Josh Brown as the 7th, 8th and let it play out for 10, 15, 20 games? I don't know what it is because I think what we saw today in the 60 is what we're going to see on Wednesday. It's still a little bit concerning for me because that third pair is a little leaky.
Yep.
Nurse, I feel like still needs to get up to speed. He wasn't very good tonight.
Fair.
I'm not worried about the top pair. I want to see Emberson in real action and yeah, it's going to be fun. It's always a great week. And it's, Tom, for the first time in a long time, it was a very short summer for hockey here in Edmonton. And
Absolutely.
I think the fans loved it.
Good.
And
buckle up. Here we go again.
Support your Edmonton Elks tomorrow. Our guy Dusty's calling the game. They have a big game. I think BC was up a ton. So if the Elks lose tomorrow, they're officially eliminated from playoff contention.
Winnipeg with a huge win tonight, too, over Hamilton.
Yeah. So Hamilton's pretty much done. So the Elks need a big win. So go support. I'm hearing they're about over 22,000 already. So that's not bad. And that's the rider bump, too.
Yep.
And I know you're going to be there, and our boys are going to be at the tailgate. Go
Chili
try
cook-off.
Maddie's chili with no beans.
Texas style or traditional, whatever I want.
All of a sudden, you want a chili expert. That
He's
is making
a
me laugh,
shepherd's
man.
pie expert, evidently, too. Well, it's cottage pie. Unless you make it with lamb, then it's a shepherd's pie. I had people texting me today being like, this is ridiculous. I'm like, I know.
Okay, wait. He's saying a traditional shepherd's pie is not meat, it's lamb?
It's lamb, not beef.
I've never heard that.
Well, Matthew, who is diligent and stringent on every finite detail, was more than happy to point that out today.
Tommy, I'm going to switch you over to the single shot here. As,
look at you getting fancy and technical. Well done, Hernan Salas.
We'll start wrapping up here pretty quick. So
back in the fold. All right, I'll wrap it up with this. If there's any texts that come in that are good ones that I can get to, I will. We have like a minute or two left, and I'll just give some final thoughts. Nasty chat. You guys are nasty. Some good stuff in there. It's going to be spicy all year long. Thank you for sticking with us till the wee hours of the night into the morning. We will be back for Hello Hockey tomorrow at 10 a.m. Myself, Sean Bell, and YouTube Trev alongside our new producer, Ben Thompson. We'll have a copy of NHL 25 to give away, as well as have Craig Conroy, David Pagnotta, and Jesse Kirschenbaum as our guests. We'll also have a fly away to LA keyword and entry to get to one of our listeners tomorrow. All right, this one from Scalding Gourd says Skinner's final numbers will be average except wins, which will be high, and that's what matters. And then I'm not reading Rip City Steps there. Jody says Commonwealth Stadium playoffs free zone since 2017. Yeah, they need to get that turned in the right direction. All right, positives. Emberson, quietly good? I think so. Noah Philp continues to write a good story. Will he be on the roster come Monday at 1 p.m. our time? I like his chances. I think Travis Dermott gets signed. We'll see what happens with Josh Brown. If anything, with this underwhelming performance from the Oilers' top guns in the preseason, if they crank it up a notch like Chris Knobloch is asking them to, I think they will be okay. It can't be any worse than it was to start last year. Can it? Knock on wood. Knock on wood. That's going to do it for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show. A huge thank you to everybody who tuned in on iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Apple Music, of course, EdmontonSportsTalk.com, as well as everybody who stayed up late and watched us on YouTube. It's great to be back. Let's go. Wednesday night. Myself, Hernan, and Maddie Cassian. A big thank you to Joaquin Gage for filling in for Joaquin and Nanso. I'm Tom Gazzola saying enjoy the rest of your night. Be safe out there. Mix in a water. We will talk to you tomorrow morning. Ciao, ciao.